hell happened to the comedy movie? You know, those gut-busting, leave-you-crying in the theater films that didn't care who they offended? They're gone, murdered by wokeness, cancel culture, Hollywood studios, and a society that just can't take a joke anymore. But from the ashes of that carnage rose something unexpected, the comedian podcaster. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how Hollywood's cowardice really killed a genre and accidentally birthed a revolution. Let's dissect a cultural crime scene, the death of the comedy movie, and the rise of the comedian podcaster.
You suck, you jackass.
Howdy, and thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate you. If you're new here, I'd appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. It really does help. So back in the day, comedy films were the kings of the box office, raunchy, irreverent, and unapologetic. Unfortunately, now they're deader than disco.
Boy, you're hilarious, my friend.
But here's the thing, the void didn't just leave us humorless. It gave us Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon, Tom Segura, and a legion of comics who ditched the screen for the mic. And you know what? They're thriving. So how did we get here? Let's break it down. Let's rewind to the glory days. The 70s, 80s, and 90s were a comedy movie renaissance. Mel Brooks gave us Blazing Saddles, a film that'd get canceled faster than a Twitter troll today. John Hughes ruled the 80s with Ferris Bueller and The Breakfast Club. Then the 90s and early 2000s gave us hits like Dumb and Dumber, There's Something About Mary, American Pie, and The Hangover. These movies weren't just funny, they were cultural juggernauts. The Hangover alone raked in $460 million on a $35 million budget in 2009. That's a 13x return. Studios couldn't churn them out fast enough. So why did these work so well? Well, I think it's simple. They didn't give a damn. They punched up, down, and sideways. Nobody was safe. Racial stereotypes? Check. Sex jokes? Oh yeah. Religion? You bet. And audiences ate it up because we knew it was just that. Jokes. But then something started to shift. It started slow, but it went fast. Enter the 2010s, the era of wokeness and cancel culture. Suddenly, everybody's a critic with a megaphone. Social media turned into an outrage factory. 30 million people on Twitter ready to pounce on anything remotely edgy. Comedians like Kevin Hart got burned for decade-old tweets, losing the Oscars gig in 2018. Shane Gillis snagged a Saturday Night Live spot in 2019 only to get axed over a podcast quip. The message was blatantly clear. Step out of line and you're done. So I think Todd Phillips nailed it. Studios got really scared. Producers started passing scripts through committees. Can we say this? Will this offend? By the time a joke made it to the screen, it was so sanitized it belonged in a hospital ward. Joe Rogan put it best on his podcast in 2022.
When was the last good comedy movie that was released? It used to be you would be able to, Something About Mary,
right?
You know, Kingpin. You could just snap them off.
No.
You knew where they were. It's like wokeness killed the comedy movie in a lot of ways.
It did. People, they're not making them.
He's not wrong. Let's just look at the numbers. The data here is brutal. Hollywood stopped making R-rated comedies because the risk outweighed the reward. One wrong line and you're facing boycotts, protests, and a PR nightmare. Look at Zoolander 2 in 2016. A single gag about a gender-fluid model sparked outrage. The movie bombed. Studios learned safe is better than sorry, but safe just ain't funny. By the 2020s, comedy movies were on life support. That was a dark time. We had a pandemic, and honestly, comedy seemed to be almost illegal at that point in time. Take the movie Bros, for example, a 2022 gay rom-com marketed as groundbreaking. Billy Eichner told homophobes not to see it on Twitter, and guess what? They didn't. And neither did anyone else. It grossed $14.8 million against a $22 million budget.
Ouch, baby.
Or Amsterdam, a star-studded mess with a thinly veiled Trump speech that tanked at $31 million worldwide. Studios blame fans and audiences and accuse them of being some sort of phobe or ist instead of just looking in the mirror. I personally blame the preaching.
But I think it's particularly worrying at the moment because you can only create in an atmosphere of freedom where you're not checking everything you say critically before you move on. What you have to be able to do is to build without knowing where you're going, because you've never been there before. That's what creativity is. So you have to be allowed to build. And a lot of comedians now are sitting there, and when they think of something, they start thinking, could I get away with that? I don't think so. So-and-so got into trouble when he said that or she said that. You see what I mean? And that's the death of creativity.
John Cleese gets it. Comedy thrives on freedom, not fear. But Hollywood doubled down on woke agendas, diversity quotas, message-driven plots, forgetting that people watch comedies to laugh, not to be lectured. And the result is the genre's been murdered. No Hangover sequels, no Superbad successors, just a wasteland of PG-13 safe flops and streaming duds like Jon Stewart's The Problem with Jon Stewart. Down 78% in viewership by episode 5. Just brutal. Here's where I think it gets juicy. While Hollywood ran scared, comedians said, fuck this, I'll do it myself. Enter the podcaster revolution. Joe Rogan's The Joe Rogan Experience pulls 11 million listeners per episode, more than any late night show. Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast is a cult hit. Tim Dillon, the guy's a one-man chaos machine. And Two Bears, One Cave is funnier than anything that's been released in the last 20 years.
It doesn't sound good.
These comics didn't just survive the comedy movie collapse, they thrived. Podcasts are the Wild West. No censors, no committees, just raw, unfiltered humor. Tim Dillon skewers everyone and rants about woke nonsense. And Rogan, he's built an entire empire talking to comics, fighters, and weirdos. Spotify dropped over 100 million on him in 2020 and even more money just last year. Why? Because people crave real laughs, not watered down garbage. Take the newest movie, You're Cordially Invited, that had Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. This movie would have been an absolute massive hit if it had come out about 20 years ago. And the whole time I was watching that movie, I'm continually asking myself, okay, but where's the funny part? It's a common problem these days. So Joe Rogan said wokeness has destroyed the comedy movie genre. And fans agree. On X, they're screaming for the old days, but they're also tuning into podcasts. These comics turned cancel culture into a superpower. Dave Chappelle got canceled for The Closer in 2021, but his Netflix deal kept rolling and he sold out arenas.
Gotcha, bitch!
Shane Gillis bounced back bigger than ever with 2024 and 2025 SNL hosting gig. Cancel culture really tried to kill them. Instead, it just made them legends. So do I think comedy's dead forever? No, not if studios grow a damn spine. Here's the play. Take a page from horror movies. Low-budget horror flicks like Get Out, which was made for $4.5 million, ended up grossing $255 million. Or Paranormal Activity, which was made for $15,000, ended up making $193 million. These prove you don't need $100 million to make a hit. Why not a comedy like that? Small budget, edgy script, no apologies. Horror thrives on breaking taboos, and comedy can too.
But if someone made something as funny as a Hangover right now, it would make $1 billion, and everyone would be trying to do that. So I think, it ebbs and it flows, and hopefully it'll flow soon.
And you know what? I actually agree with that. When I talk to everyday people completely removed from Hollywood's little bubble, I get the same sentiment. People miss comedy. There really is nothing like sitting in a packed theater watching a funny movie. It's an experience you can't replicate really anywhere else except maybe at the comedy club. Imagine a $5 million comedy, shot lean, packed with dark humor and zero pandering. You dodge the big budget woke flops and tap into the hunger Rogan's talking about. Studios just need the balls. Horror's already doing it, why not them? Comedy movies didn't die, they were assassinated by cowardice and outrage. But from that grave rose the comedian podcaster proving laughter can't be silenced. Hollywood's scared, but the fans aren't. Social media posts, podcast numbers, and sold out shows scream it. I think if a studio dares to make a real comedy horror style, they're gonna strike gold. Until then, we've got the mics. So what do you think? Did wokeness and cancel culture kill comedy, or did it just set it free? I'm really interested to hear your take, so let's light up that comment section. Do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe for more. It really does help. As always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.
That talks too much. I'm just a jackass of all trades. Don't know shit. I'll keep on talking, acting like I'm so legit. From politics to sports, I'm spout.